My name is Thomas, and at 63, I thought I'd learned to read people pretty well. 40 years in business teaches you that. But nothing prepared me for what happened that Saturday afternoon at the Riverside Country Club. My wife Natalie and I had been married for 35 years. She came from old money, the kind of family where your great-grandfather's portrait hangs in the club dining room. I came from a working-class neighborhood where we fixed our own cars and knew all our neighbors by name. When we married, her parents made it clear I'd never quite measure up, but Natalie said she loved me, and that was enough. Or so I thought. Over the years, I built a successful consulting firm. We lived well, raised 2 good kids, and I believed we were happy. But there was always this invisible line, her world and mine. The country club was definitely her world. Natalie had been a member at Riverside for decades. I joined when we married, mostly to make her happy, but I rarely went. Golf wasn't my thing, and the people there made me feel like I was still that kid from the wrong side of town, no matter how successful I became. That Saturday, Natalie asked me to drive her to the club. Her car was in the shop, and she had some charity luncheon to attend. I can pick you up after, I offered as we pulled into the elegant circular driveway. No need, she said quickly, checking her makeup in the mirror. Patricia will give me a ride home. I pulled up to the entrance where a young valet stood waiting. Natalie gathered her purse and started to get out. That's when I noticed the club manager, Gregory Stern, walking toward the entrance. He glanced at our car, and I saw him do a double take when he recognized me behind the wheel. The valet opened Natalie's door. As she stepped out, I heard her say to him, "He's just dropping me off. You don't need to park it." Just dropping her off. Something about the way she said it, the casual dismissal, made me reach for my door handle. I got out of the car. The valet looked confused. Gregory had stopped walking, his face going pale. "Actually," I said, loud enough for Natalie to hear, "I think I'll stay for lunch." Natalie turned, and I saw panic flash across her face. "Thomas, you said you had work to catch up on." I changed my mind. Gregory approached us, and I could see him sweating despite the mild weather. "Mr. Harrison, Mrs. Harrison, wonderful to see you both." "Gregory," I nodded. "Beautiful day for the club, isn't it?" "Indeed, indeed." He was practically trembling. "Will you both be joining us for lunch?" "Just me," Natalie said quickly. Thomas was leaving. "No," I said calmly. "I'm staying. Is that a problem?" "Of course not, sir," Gregory stammered. "You're a member. You're always welcome." But the way he said it, the nervous glance he shot at Natalie, told me something was very wrong. We walked into the club together. The moment we entered the dining room, I felt it. The shift in atmosphere. Conversations stuttered, heads turned. 5 staff members literally surrounded me. "Mr. Harrison, sir, we didn't know you'd be here today," one of them said. "Why would you need to know?" I asked. They exchanged glances. One of them, a young woman named Sarah, who'd always been kind to me, looked genuinely distressed. "Sir, we weren't prepared for—" "Thomas," Natalie interrupted, her voice tight. "Why don't we sit over here?" She gestured to a table in the corner, far from where a group of well-dressed women had gathered near the windows. That's when I understood. "How long?" I asked quietly. "What? How long have you been telling people I don't come here? That I'm just your driver?" The color drained from her face. Gregory appeared at my elbow. "Sir, perhaps we could speak in my office?" "No need," I said, my voice carrying across the now silent dining room. "I'm a paying member of this club. Have been for 35 years. I'd like to have lunch with my wife." I walked toward the table where Natalie's friends sat. Every eye in the room followed me. Natalie grabbed my arm. "Please don't do this," she whispered. "Do what? Have lunch at a club I pay $50,000 a year to belong to?" Her grip tightened. "You're embarrassing me." "Funny," I said. "I was just thinking the same thing about you." One of the women at the table, Patricia, stood up. "Natalie, darling, we didn't realize Thomas would be joining us today." "He's not," Natalie said quickly. "He's just leaving." "Actually," I said, pulling out a chair, "I'm staying. Unless someone can give me a reason why I shouldn't be welcome at a club where my name is on the membership roster and my money pays the bills." The silence was deafening. Sarah, the kind staff member, brought me a menu with shaking hands. "Your usual table is available, Mr. Harrison, if you'd prefer." "This is fine," I said. Unless there's some rule I don't know about? Gregory had followed us over. He was sweating profusely now. Sir, there's been a misunderstanding. Has there? I looked directly at him. Tell me, Gregory, when my wife comes here, what exactly does she say about me? He opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Natalie desperately. It's okay, I said. I already know. I just want to hear you say it. Thomas, stop, Natalie hissed. But I was done stopping. Done pretending. Done being the embarrassment she dropped off at the door. She tells you I'm busy with work, I continued. That I don't enjoy these social events. Maybe she's even said I'm not comfortable in places like this. Am I close? Gregory's silence was answer enough. What she means, I said, standing up, is that I'm not good enough for her friends, not refined enough, not from the right family, just the man who pays the bills and makes her lifestyle possible. That's not fair, Natalie said, her voice breaking. Isn't it? I looked at her, really looked at her. When was the last time you introduced me as your husband with pride instead of explaining why I wasn't there? Tears were streaming down her face now, but I couldn't stop. I've spent 35 years trying to be worthy of you, working to provide the life you wanted. And you've spent 35 years apologizing for me to your friends. I turned to leave, then stopped. Gregory, please cancel my membership, effective immediately. And Natalie, you can find your own ride home. I walked out of that dining room with my head high, even though my heart was breaking. That evening, Natalie came home. She'd gotten a ride from Patricia, who'd apparently given her an earful about treating her husband with such disrespect. We sat in our living room, the house quiet around us. I'm sorry, she finally said. You're right, about all of it. Why, I asked. Why wasn't I good enough? She wiped her eyes. It wasn't about you not being good enough. It was about me being afraid I wasn't. My parents always made me feel like marrying you was settling. And instead of standing up to them, I let their shame become mine. And I made you carry it, for 35 years. For 35 years, she repeated. And I'm so sorry. We didn't fix everything that night. You don't undo decades of hurt in one conversation. But we started talking, really talking, for the first time in years. Natalie quit the country club. Not because I asked her to, but because she realized she'd been performing for people whose approval meant nothing compared to the man she'd been dismissing. We found new places to spend our time, places where we both belonged, places where she introduced me as her husband with pride in her voice. Some wounds take time to heal, but knowing that someone finally sees your worth, that's where healing begins. If this story spoke to you about dignity, respect, and knowing your worth, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below about a time when you had to stand up for yourself in a relationship. Your courage might inspire someone else.